An internet search estimates that approximately 500,000 internet pages are created every day. According to Smithsonian Magazine, approximately 1.8 million journal articles are published each year. Information is being created so rapidly that it's possible to go to sleep and wake up the next day knowing a little less than what you did the day before. As educators, this is of particular concern when preparing our students to participate in the global environment. We need to be equipped with skills and tools that help sift through the mounds of articles, blogs, and videos. In this cycle, you will learn to do just that. The purpose of this cycle is to curate content. In this section of your road trip, we will learn how to create critical connections with other educators to help us gather, organize, and retrieve instructional content to integrate into instructions. Our stops along this road trip include making sure, as educators, we understand the importance of curating content, that we know how to find, connect, and collaborate with other educators in order to make the lift of collecting educational information easier and more efficient, and that we have the tools to assist in the organization and storage of our curated resources. Our journey begins by looking at some definitions for curation from different fields of industry. For the most part, they all agree that curation is collecting and organizing information. A closer look will point out that each definition has distinct verbiage that identifies the value and significance of curation. With this in mind, let's look at our key terms. So again, curation, which can be looked at as the process of discovering, gathering, and presenting digital content that surrounds a specific subject matter. Open Educational Resources, or OER. These are teaching and learning materials that you may freely use and reuse at no cost and without needing to ask permission. Unlike copyrighted resources, OER have been authored and created by individuals or organizations that choose to retain few, if any, ownership rights. Personalized Learning Network. That's a group of people who you connect with to increase your knowledge on a particular subject. Social bookmarking. That's the practice of saving bookmarked web pages to a public site as a way to share links with other users on the internet. Note, you're not saving the content itself, but more of a pathway to get back to a resource. And tagging. This is a process of adding keywords or terms to your social bookmarking. This kind of data allows you to describe an item and then makes it easier to find in a search or browse later on. In the 2016 blog post, Why Curation Revolutionizes Education and Learning, it begins with the predicting quote of the state of education in 2020. In 2020, people will have access to a breadth and depth of knowledge unimaginable in an earlier age. However, schools as we know them will have ceased to exist. Academia's fortunes have waned. 21st century universities are an afterthought, a lonely remnant of a not-so-distant past. The blog continues on to point out the creation and transformation of knowledge is happening at an ever-increasing rate. There is an increase in the amount of both breadth and depth of knowledge that is freely accessible to users that has never existed before our current circumstances. The ability to be able to obtain and curate content has led to customized instruction that supports personalized learning. So you see, the ability to curate content is more than a fancy Google search. It keeps us current with content, keeps our students and ourselves exposed to 21st century skills, and it increases our engagement in our classroom environment. With relevant and current content as educators, we're able to create customized assessments for our students. As we begin to transfer our curation skills to our students, we are able to assist them in their journey in becoming self-directed learners, taking ownership of their learning. The collaborative work situation creates an environment for feedback and support from other educators. as well as it continues the flow of current and relevant information. As we begin curating resources, we need to think of how we would like to organize our curated content. Does it work best for you to organize by instructional themes? If so, create boards, buckets, or folders organized by content themes, units, or chapters. Maybe you prefer to organize your content by types of resources, such as learning objects or digital media. You may want to organize your content by different modalities. You can have a folder for your kinesthetic learners, auditory learners, as well as visual. Whatever system you use, know that it will be an evolving process and likely to change. On your road trip, this stop at the tools that you can use for curation could take all day. Please know that there is really just a limitless number of choices out there. You want to pick what works for you. For me, I like Pocket. It's a social bookmarking site that lets you save articles and videos and stories from any publication or web page. The articles are saved within Pocket, so even if the web page goes down, the article is still there for you to access. Pinterest is another tool that lets you collect resources in what are called boards. Check out our I Teach Pinterest board. Pinterest boards can be saved by themes according to content. So you could have a Pinterest board on electricity and magnetism, executive functioning, or social-emotional learning. Another resource is Scoop It. So for this one, more so than you finding items and attaching them to a Pinterest board or to a Pocket, Scoop It can actually have settings set up that will curate items that you're interested in on a particular topic. Digo is an online research tool that integrates social bookmarking as well as allows you to do web page annotations, tagging, and group collaboration. A final note about all these resources, you have the ability to go back and do tags. Again, this really helps you when you want to go back and sort by a particular topic, find all the resources that you saved on personalized learning. And like many things that are offered on the web, there tends to be a paid version and a free version. With most of these tools, you can operate fairly successfully just using the free version. Another great resource for curating information is oercommons.org. This is a public digital library of open educational resources. This means that most of the websites or information covered on this site are under Creative Commons, which means that the authors have agreed to allow you to use their work. And in most cases, you can take it down, remix it, and then share it with others. For more of a live interaction feel with your curating, consider creating personal learning networks, PLNs. Remember, groups of educators gather together through social media sites that share resources and ask for help. Individuals can use hashtags like #ITeachTalk to become a part of a group that discusses the same content or particular topic. Social media platforms like Facebook have groups, and some of them are even private, that you can request to join that all center around a common interest. So your next steps in a road trip is to start with the reflection. This is your opportunity to think about how are you handling all these mass amounts of online information. Next, you'll work on your tinker or task. You will create your own curation roadmap. Think of ways that you can gather and share resources for a particular unit that you'll use in the upcoming school year. Once you've completed your curation roadmap, make sure to upload it under the Tinker section. Then, step 3, grow. This is your opportunity to reflect on the information in this cycle. Are there still things you need to know more on? Can you begin to think about how can I use this with my students? Thank you for joining us on this section of your I Teach Road Trip content curation. Happy curating!